Welcome back. The next stitch is going to be the Portuguese Knotted Stem Stitch, and this is a very lovely stitch which makes a sort of a braided effect. It's a raised stitch and I've used it here in this embroidery. This is called Guimarães embroidery from Portugal. So let's have a look at it on the wheel. I've drawn two lines here on the wheel, so we're going to do it in a straight line. So if you're right-handed, come up onto the left-hand side of one of them on the line and take a stitch down, but don't pull the thread all the way through. Now for normal stem stitch, keep your thread at the bottom and you would come up in the middle of those two threads for your first stitch. But just come a little bit more to the left hand side, so not in the middle, and pull through. And now we're going to take our first wrap. So bring your needle through that smaller part of the stitch that you've just made and pull through. And that makes a knot, or almost a knot, because we're going to do it again. So through the same bit of the stitch to finish the stitch. And now you're going into your normal stem stitch. So take the needle down, keep the thread at the bottom if you're right-handed, and now come up at the end. So come up where you went down. So come up at the end of that stitch there, just like you would with normal stem stitch, and pull through. And now you're going to do your wraps. There are two little prongs here and you're going to do your wraps through those. So first wrap, and then the second wrap, and then do a normal stem stitch. So thread at the bottom, come up at the end of your previous stitch, and now we're going to do your wraps. So can you see those two threads there? That's where you're looking to go through. So one wrap, and then another. Now your normal stem stitch, and through those two stitches there. Now carry on watching because I'm going to show you how to finish the stitch. I hope you can see this. I'm stitching it, I seem to be stitching at a funny angle today to get it in the picture. Depends where I am on the wheel as to where I can position myself. So normal stem stitch, and then so the second wrap sort of goes to the left of the first one. And that's the knotted bit really, that's why it's called Portuguese and knotted stem stitch. Of course whipped stem stitch would also make the stitch stand up, but this is, I think, even nicer than that. So this is going to be my last stitch. So take your first wrap, and then with your second one, if you're finishing off, you don't do the second one, in fact, just tuck the needle underneath and take it to the back. And that's the Portuguese knotted stem. So I'm going to show left-handers now on the other line, because left-handers will keep the thread at the top. So you will go down, bring your needle up just there, so not quite in the middle, more towards the right. So you're stitching right to left, and now take your needle through that bit that you've just, that bit at the top there. Being careful not to pierce your split back stitch, which I've just nearly done, and do it again. And then do a normal stem stitch. So come up where the other stitch finished, and you will have made 2 prongs there. So you're going to go back under, and then take your normal stem stitch. This isn't looking very neat as left-handed, but never mind. I just want to show you the action really. And you can see those prongs there now, I think, that you've made there. So that's where you go through. So I'm not going to put you through the pain of watching me stitch left-handed any longer. If that was your final stitch, you would just take it under there, you wouldn't do the second wrap and finish off. There's the Portuguese knotted stem. So please join me for the next stitch. I'm going to decide what that will be. We've only got 4 spaces left. So do join me for that.